I am Valérie Jumessi and I am a French entrepreneur. I'm based in Paris. My parents are Cameroonian. I'm the artistic director of our family business, which is called Upgrade Agency. And I am also a consultant in image and a creativity coach. I co-host a podcast with my three sisters and my mother. It is called 𝐏𝐸𝐮𝐥𝐿 podcast. I have always been fascinated by the human potential. For me, it is so important to, as a woman and as a man, to be able to realize our dreams. So welcome in mine. It's Amulet podcast. It's a 10-minute bubble of courage in French and in English, where I will be talking everything vulnerability, authenticity, and freedom. So make yourself comfortable. Welcome in my dream. This is Amulet podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome in this new episode of Amulet podcast. I am Valerie and I will be your host for the next minutes. I am so excited to share this moment with you guys, and I hope the lockdown is going well for you, because it's been actually 45 days or something that we've been asked to change the way we are supposed to live, and it's really intense. And as you know, if you've listened to the episode from last week, it was complicated for me, but now I am back feeling much better and happy to talk to you guys. So in this episode, I wanted to explore a supposition. Let's imagine that The Matrix, the movie from the Wachowski sisters, so the one who was out in 1999 and the other in 2003 and the other I don't remember when it was. Let's imagine that those movies were not movies but documentaries. Are you ready? I think it's really fun sometimes to take time to watch movies, not as movies, but as documentaries. So instead of watching something to entertain yourself, maybe try to watch it and to understand how this situation that you're seeing in this movie is a reality in your own life. Why I'm doing that is because, well, of course, this situation is totally crazy, and it has been an opportunity for me to just do stuff that I didn't take the time to do before. One of those things was to watch more movies, because every time people were talking to me about references that I couldn't not catch because of the lack of my culture in terms of cinema. So what I decided to do is that I watch a lot of amazing movies that I think are fundamentals in terms of culture, and Matrix for me is one of them. So this incredible movie just felt so right to watch at this moment, because things feel so surreal. And I wonder myself, in which way are we in a Matrix, Valerie? In which way are you in a Matrix? And I realized how deeply sometimes I could be. For instance, last week I told you I was in this kind of mental breakdown because I was in a reality where the memories from my past relationship came back to basically haunt me and to make me act like I was still in this relationship and that I was still lost and afraid and lonely, which was not the case at the moment. So for me, that is a kind of matrix. And that's something that it's crucial to be able to identify so you can get out of this. If you are spending more time that you think is necessary watching the news, for instance, watching a lot of bad news, because that's what's going on in the world right now, if you always feel like whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever you are, it's never enough, if you feel like you are always chasing this instant gratification because you need that dopamine dose to be or to feel alive, if you feel like you're always waiting for something to happen or something that is gonna come and save you from the misery of your life, that you need something to feel like you enough, need to buy this new thing to feel happy or be in this new relationship to feel happy or whatever, if you are looking for answers outside of yourself, then, my friend, you definitely are in the matrix. So, what is the matrix? What is a matrix? Well, I try to identify two types of matrices, but basically there are so many, and the craziest part is that whenever you feel like you are out of one, you are still in another one.
Another one.
It's like a fractal thing. So there are an infinity of metrics. But the main that I think I managed to get out of, even though it's not something like, oh, I'm totally out of the trouble. It's not true, because it's something, it's just a journey. It's not a destination. But basically, it's the matrix of the word, and it exists for a long time. It is actually older than we know.
The matrix is older than you know.
This matrix is telling you how to love, who to love, what to buy, how to consume, what to think. It gives you information about what is beauty, what is beautiful, what is not beautiful, what is trendy, what is up. It feeds you with information that are so anxious, like the news, which are available 24/7. Every day you have the terrorist attacks, you have the natural catastrophes, you have the scandals, the political scandals, and all those things are stressing people out because it has a negative impact in the way people interact with the word, because at some point when you only read that, you just think that the word is a bunch of crazy people that are killing each other. And it can be true. And also, it can be not that true, because there are also amazing stuff that are happening in the world. The news is overwhelming because it's always negative, and it can make you feel more anxious about your own problem. So you are saying, like, I don't know, something happening in the Darfur or like COVID-19, and then your own problems, you feel so stressed about it because you are already in the world that there is a lot of stress and fear. Studies at Bradford University revealed that 20% of the people of the studies was negatively affected by violent news, and those people tend to score higher for PTSD symptoms. When we're talking about PTSD, we're talking about, post-traumatic stress disorders, which is often associated with veterans or people who have significant traumas in their past. Well, it was found that in some people who simply are just watching the news, it can be as violent. When I read that, I was like, wow, this is more complicated than I thought. The TV, the news that you are consuming is also keeping you in this scarcity mindset in which we are always in the lack of something. And why are we always in the lack of something? Because if you don't like anything, if you don't lack anything, you don't need to buy. Tell me how it's possible. How is it possible for a consumerism society to thrive without individuals who don't like anything? Well, it's not working. So of course, we want you to feel like everything is scarce. That's why after you're going to the supermarket to buy like a ton of toilet paper. There is another matrix that I think is as important as the one of the word, is your own matrix. Those internal programs that are within you and that have been with you since your childhood. It could be limiting belief based on fear, guilt, like I don't deserve it, I don't deserve to be happy, I don't deserve this job, so I will self-sabotage because in my childhood, in a way or in another, someone told me and made me believe that I didn't deserve it. I don't deserve it also because if I do change my life and if I do get out of this cycle that keep my family for generation in poverty or in violence or whatever, then I am gonna be alone and I won't be a part of something that I already know. So it's really terrifying. Those beliefs have a powerful impact in our life. If you let limiting beliefs control your life, you will have difficult time to go wherever you want to go. It's like, I can't do it because I can't, or I'm not like that, or it's not up to me, it's not worth the effort. When you think a situation is out of your control, you feel helpless even when it's not true. Second point, it's the fixed mindset. And this fixed mindset have been conceptualized by 𝐀𝐦𝐮𝐥𝐿 in the 90s, I think. And she's a professor and also a psychologist. And she basically explained something that there are two types of mindset. There is the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And the fixed mindset is really like the limiting belief that you can have. Basically, when you have a fixed mindset, you think that your intelligence is static, so it won't change. So you are what you are right now and you won't improve. It's also when you just avoid challenges because you are scared and you think you're not able to overcome them. Whenever there are an obstacle, you just give up easily. And you see efforts like something fruitless or really difficult. Let's talk about criticism. You cannot stand criticism when you are in a fixed mindset. You think it's a personal attack to yourself. And of course, it's a negative feedback for you, so you cannot stand it. So you'd rather not make an effort or not even try because you're afraid. That's the fixed mindset. And then you have the growth mindset, which is totally different, where it's in expansion and you think you can do anything. You are not ready yet to do the things, but you're going to learn, you're going to grow because you know what you're worth. I'll do an episode special on this mindset so you can really understand it. And if you want to dive in and identifying when and where you are a fixed mindset, it's so helpful and it's going to change your life. Third point, it's what is called the hedonic adaptation. It's basically taking things for granted. Let me explain to you. As a human species, we tend to adapt to change in our life because that's what we do. We have to adapt to changing environments. And we had to do this since we were hunter-gatherers, because if not, we were dying. So that human condition makes us adapt to what happened to us, and also makes us return to relatively stable level of happiness despite positive or negative events in our life. Well, you lose your job, you feel like shit because you don't have any income. Also, you feel ashamed to just not have a job anymore, not be the provider or whatever. And so at the beginning, it's complicated for you and you feel unhappy. But then at some point, eventually, you're going to come back to stable level of happiness because you're going to get used to that situation. And then at some point, you may be going to feel happier because that's what humans do. Let's take another example. Let's say you win the lottery. When you win the lottery, that's the same thing. You are going to feel like you are thriving and it's amazing and your level of happiness is to the roof for a while. Then slowly and gently, you're going to come back to something more stable. And then your new norm will be to go to expensive restaurant and to fly private, maybe. It's going to be your new norm and it's not going to make you happier. So that is called the hedonic adaptation. I'll do a podcast especially on that so you can really understand how not to go into that trap that can cause you to feel unhappy all the time if you don't know it exists. So those three things for me are some programs that are inside you and that will create the matrix that won't let you just be exactly who you want to be. So now, why would someone want to get out of this matrix? It's so comfy. It's hot inside. You can buy whatever you want. You can watch TV. You don't have to ask yourself questions. The food is good.
What's not to like? Custard? Good. Jam? Good. Meat? Good.
Like, why? Because when you're unplugged, you can take better decision in your life. You can decide how to consume, you can decide how to love, you can deconstruct all the things that have been fed to you since you were born and really think by yourself and be who you want to be. And then you realize that you are enough no matter what, because just the fact that you exist is crazy, and that's in itself is enough. Also because we need people to change the world. We need a better world. Really, we don't need to wait for someone to do it for ourselves. We are the people, and we are the one who can change the world by changing ourselves first. And last but not least, ask yourself, if you don't control your mind, who is? I know you're scary, but no worries. Valerie got your back. I want you to find answers and maybe tips to unplug yourself as much as you can, and maybe identify the other metrics that I did not talk about so you can be every day a little bit more free. How would you say? Well, first, maybe stop watching the news. Stop it. Like, really, stop it. Most of the news that you see, you cannot do anything about it. Let's be clear. And it's made in purpose, so you can feel helpless. So stop watching the news. And if you don't want to go that far, maybe just moderate the use of the news. It's like sugar, like just use it with moderation. Also, adopt a growth mindset. Like, this is something that's going to change your life. I'll make a podcast about it so you can have the tools and the tips to change the way you see the world and then to be really the master of your own life. Gratitude. Gratitude is a muscle. Gratitude is a religion. Gratitude helps you develop two neurotransmitters that are really important. The serotonin, which is the happiness hormone, who's going to help create the melatonin after, which is going to help you sleep better. And of course, the dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that is released at the cerebral trunk that helps you be motivated and help you create the vision you want for yourself. Fourth point, learn how to identify your emotions.
I'm sadness.
Oh, hello. I'm Joy. So, can I just, if you could, I just want to fix that. Thanks.
Basic shit, but no one taught us that. And so as human beings, it's hard for us to identify more than 5 emotions when there are like 30 of them. So then this emotion don't get stuck inside you and create a lot of unconscious behavior, illness, and maybe mental problems is the key. What else? How can you unplug yourself from the matrix? Well, just enjoy the damn ride. This life is made of ups and downs. This life is a cycle. And in this cycle, this is not the destination that matters. That's the ride. That's the process. The adventure has to make you happy. Really, you need to enjoy everything that you're doing, not the destination, not the goal. That's the process that matters. So pick a road, pick a path that you actually enjoy. This one is one that I'm trying to really embody during this situation, and I really want to make it something that is like grounded in myself, is that your body is a temple. It is a temple. And by the way, that's the only real house you will ever have. So you have to protect it and to love it as it was a temple. Though. So the way you eat, what you watch, who you have sex with, anything that is with your body, you need to watch it and to ask yourself, why am I consuming that? Why am I eating that? Is that really what I want? Is that really what I need? Or is that just a way for me to cope or to numb? And believe me, we all do that because that's what we do as humans. But I think one of the mission of the life is to understand why, and then to break those cycles, those generational cycles that lock us down in invisible jails. Free yourself, man. Last but not least, if you want to unplug to the matrix or to the systems that you feel they are not benefiting you anymore, it's about accepting to be uncomfortable. Because sometimes, and at the beginning, being yourself feels uncomfortable. Why? Because you're going to be out of those boxes that have been created by people who maybe most of the time are not in these boxes, or maybe they are. So really, they are not creating by you. So when you are yourself, at first, it sucks a little bit because you don't know how to act and you feel like people are looking at you weird. After a while, you start to accept and you start to love yourself. And you start to see the beauty in your awkwardness. And then you start to see the beauty in people's awkwardness and people's flaws and people's stories and traumas. That's what the world is about. Not the perfection that they're trying to sell to us to make us feel less. So yes, Feel uncomfortable. Like said Yes Theory, the Yes Theory on YouTube, seek discomfort. Because it's only out of your comfort zone that you're going to grow. It's only out of your comfort zone that it's worth living. Look at how short this life is. Look at how the world has been changing in the last 2 months. It's crazy. Us as humans, we feel like we are going to be there forever, but we are not. So, for the time we have here, at least let's be ourselves. Let's be awkward and uncomfortable and vulnerable. Let's love, let's laugh, let's be together, let's share, let's vibrate together, because that's what life is. The rest doesn't matter. So yes, my friend, really, let's unplug to that damn matrix because it's not working. Look outside. We can't even go outside anymore. Unplug and start by something. Start by something. And if you feel fear, I understand and I am with you. But feel fear and do it anyway. Because the world needs you. The world needs you. Unplug. Really. But I mean, of course, The Matrix is just a movie. It's not a documentary. Of course, we all know that, right? So yeah, you can just stop that podcast and go back to your normal life. Or you can just, be your own Neo. Thank you so much for your time and your patience and your attention. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. I hope this episode, made you travel a little bit and think and maybe change the way you see things. Let me know in the comments on our website, upgradepodcast.paris. And also you can find us on the Instagram, 𝐏𝐿𝐮𝐥𝐿. We can share and talk about this episode. I would love to do that. And yes, really important. If you love this episode and you went all the way listening to me, just give me 5 stars. Yes, I'm asking you because it's a lot of work and I need support. Yes. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and just take care of yourself. Thank you very much. That was Valerie for Amulet Podcast.